one last time, today's good news comes from Shirley Geer.
I don't think it's going to be the last time. Well, it may be the last time as officially your minister, but
Yes.
I'm going to be here. Let's begin with prayer. Mother, Father, God, divine mind of the universe, we thank you for the opportunity to explore life with the principles of unity and new thought. We're so grateful to have a spiritual path that teaches us to be open-minded, joyous, enlightened, and loving. We affirm that you are the universal mind and that you are the source of all things. We affirm that we are portions of your energy here on earth to demonstrate your love, to spread understanding and compassion, and to live the truth of our own spiritual nature. We appreciate having had a spiritual family here, sustaining us and encouraging us, so many others, for 30 years. We choose to learn to use all our spiritual powers to bless others, to create a positive atmosphere where everyone feels safe to be all they can be, and to grow ourselves into a Christ-like maturity. As we go forward into our future, we affirm your blessings on each of us and on all of us, and especially on Unity on the Eastern Shore as a whole, so that our 30 years may multiply, our blessings may multiply, and our demonstrations of pure love may multiply. And so it is. Amen. So today I want to talk about thanks for the memories. Today is the 5th Sunday, so we'll do a question and answer session shortly. But first I want to say thanks for the memories. We're celebrating Unity on the Eastern Shore's 30th anniversary. And during the past 30 years, UES has had countless people come through the doors, provided inspiration for those and others by way of our outreach programs, and kept the light of new thought burning on the Eastern Shore. We've celebrated birthdays and anniversaries, baptisms, weddings, and memorial services. We've had many guest messengers, potluck meals, repairs to the building, fundraisers, cleanup days, and spaghetti dinners. Our congregation has grown in numbers and reduced in numbers, experienced dark days, rejoiced in happy days, and been faithfully spirit-filled through it all. Together we've weathered emotional storms, physical and health challenges, loss, hurricanes, no-shows, and talent shows. Through it all, we've held together, worked together, struggled together, and loved together. All that is worth celebrating. Reverend Ted Turner started UES in December 1989. Evelyn Ward and Debbie Day strongly encouraged him to start a unity group here on the Eastern Shore. They started meeting at the Racket Club, outgrew that, and Ted purchased this building, the former Communitronics building, and before that a 3-bedroom house. Noreen Sorrells coordinated and renovated and the decorating project that turned this building into a suitable place for a church. They were off to a good start. Andrea and I moved to Fairhope in 1998 and started attending Unity on the Eastern Shore the next year. Reverend Ted was one of the few ministers who really reached me. When he stood at this podium, which was back in that corner at the time, he brought his message of inspiration, and I felt that he knew what my struggles were. It was as if he reached in and touched my heart. Later that year, Reverend Ted just disappeared. This was his church, and it wasn't at all like him to not be here. The congregation floundered without him for a bit, but gained its footing and continued holding services and teaching New Thought principles. We were all in shock when we learned Ted had been kidnapped and murdered. UES has been through some very dark days. After a little while, Reverend Roxy Walters was hired, and she filled this space for about 3 years. She and the church parted ways, and all the members chipped in to do the work of, again, keeping the doors open, and on the search again for a Unity minister. We searched for about a year, but we couldn't find one. At a congregational meeting, Trinka Hastings suggested, why don't we grow our own? And I was hired. I truly have grown into this job, this work, this ministry. Today is the 5th Sunday of the month, and when there is a 5th Sunday in the month, and there are 4 of them in a year's time, I do a question and answer session instead of a regular message. We'll get to that in a few minutes. That idea of a Q&A was suggested by our beloved Tate Tackon. And it scared the bejeevers out of me. You know, just standing up here winging it, like Stump the Band. Can she answer this question now? But the first time I did a Q&A, I brought to the podium 2 grocery bags full of Unity books, teacher's manuals, and the Unity Metaphysical Dictionary, and all kinds of information. I was just sure I was going to have to look up answers. Well, I had been here long enough by then and studied Unity principles and many Unity books, and I didn't have to look up any answers. And I think we've successfully done a Q&A for about 6 years now. We have a lot of really good cooks in this church. Our potluck meals are always wonderful. And Sylvia Norton and Eleanor Scott have managed our cramped and inadequate kitchen rather well. We've had swim parties in the pool in our backyard, had some games nights, had a couple of poker nights. We had one progressive dinner night from house to house, and even had one murder mystery dinner. We had a picnic down by Fish River on a hot summer day. We had a Hawaiian luau at Susie's house down by the bay, and lots of really good spaghetti dinners with Andre's genuine homemade Italian sauce. And we served about 100 people in this room, in shifts of course, but over time we filled the church and served 100 dinners. We had one baptism, several weddings, and a few memorial services. I married Sylvia and Tate, and then Tate officiated at Andre's and my renewal of vows on our 20th anniversary. We even had a children's Sunday school for a while. Talura Sapp helped us execute and plan the last decorating project with our beautiful blue color, and we painted and bought the blue chairs. And our services for UES's 25th anniversary was held outside there on the lawn, in spite of the traffic noise. We only tried that once. We've had lots of people help with cleanup days on very hot or very cold days, trimming bushes, pulling weeds, and making UES sparkle. We've been through several hurricanes, and we did no preparations, and we're blessed with no damages. We've had yearly elections for new people on our governing board, which went from 6 officers to 5 officers to 4 officers. We have a blessing for our pets on every 4th Sunday, and that started after I was asked to bless the animals in Fairhope Earth Day celebration. And here we've had several dogs, a cat in a push cart, a great big macaw bird, and a turtle. We've held all kinds of fundraisers, some great, some a bust. We had yard sales, an ice cream social, a book sale, our piggies from heaven, the buck-a-week jar, our spaghetti feasts, a white elephant sale, our talent and treasure auction with Kip Kane, a talent show where I think we charged $1 per person to get in the door, but that's all the talent was worth. We tried radio ads and hung inspirational banners out front. We have funded a new roof, repairs to the steeple, new paving for our parking lot, sprinkler system and new sod, a new sound system, and we are ready for a big project to enclose the back porch and remodel our kitchen. Clark Hoffman was a frequent visitor and a generous supporter of Unity on the Eastern Shore, and he helped us pay off our mortgage and vicariously has assisted us in other ways. Our library has grown with many boxes of donated books, and Doreen graciously added a shelf here to allow easy access when we were running out of room in the library. Some of the most poignant memories for me of the past 13 years are the memorial service for Lou Booth in her front yard, the wedding for a couple from Mississippi, and the bride was in a wheelchair, and of course, learning of Reverend Ted's last days. Some of the happiest moments for me in the past 13 years are having my mother share some time with us here, the birth of several babies for a couple of members, and knowing our mortgage was finally paid off, paid in full. I think some of the funniest memories for me in the past 13 years are the talent show when Bob Bogeman did the song Tequila. And if you were here, you know what I mean. And Nancy Rea, sitting back in the corner, as Marilyn Monroe sang Happy Birthday to our board president, Tate Tackham, and I think he turned every shade of red imaginable, but he loved it. Too many people to count for 30 years have helped UES grow, develop, and mature into a wonderful, warm, and loving group of spiritual explorers. The board of directors and I are truly grateful for all the people who came here, participated in activities, served on the board, helped pull weeds, and assisted with events, and brought their love, and added to the deep understanding that we have today. Now I've told you about my memories, and it's time for the Q&A. So think about the happy times you might have had here. And my question for you is, who would like to share with us your happiest moments? Doreen?
I remember when you dressed in at overtime, several different costumes. The one that I remember the most was when you came up out of the lagoon, and there's a picture of that in the lobby.
Oh boy!
You looked, the
Oh
big
boy!
ears and the colorful paint. And Carolyn Garbutt was platform that day. And after you finished spitting and hollering at us with your negative, Carolyn came up and wiped off the podium.
Yes, I did the Creature from the Lagoon, and there was a Halloween when it fell on a Sunday, and as I came as a monster of some kind, and then I was one of the women in the Bible, and came in costume. That's been fun to do that, to be able to play a different role. Anybody else remember something fun or pleasant? Oh, come on, now there must be something. David?
Yeah, I've got to think back on the talent shows again, getting the chance to do some things with particularly with Sylvia when I I'm pretty good at voices, so it was the situation was we were doing. She was to be Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson's Karnak. And doing that, and we used actual ones that Carson used, and it got such laughs that
You brought down the house.
I remember that distinctly. That was a fun. That was
a good time.
Night.
I have
Susie?
when Doreen and I and Judy Kingston did Sisters. I think we did
Yes.
a trio with that. And the night that Andre and I did Mama, Who's Dying, Me or You?
That's right, those were funny skits. Yes, Marilyn Monroe, yes, Nancy.
The only church I've ever been to where it's normal to sit next to Fanny Flagg with a lampshade on her head.
Yes, Fanny Flagg used to have a house in Fairhope. And she came the day that we had the Halloween party. She had a chenille bedspread around her and a lampshade on her head, and I don't think most people didn't know who she was.
Except yours truly.
Well, I knew her too. And of course Susie knew her, and several of us. Yes, Shirley.
Well, Jim and I don't live here in Fairhope, we live in Pensacola, so it's quite a drive for us to come each Sunday. and we love coming here. The thing that I've appreciated so much here is that even though I'm not a part of the Fairhope community, we have felt such a sense of community from the members here welcoming us and getting to know all of you in our potlucks and our meals out and just chatting before and after the services. We've always felt like we're a part of the family here, and we very much
Good.
have appreciated that.
Good, good. Yes, Tallulah.
Okay, well, I have so many memories. I'm really gonna have to figure out what not to say and what to say. But as far as the church goes, I came here in right after a divorce in 2005 and was ready to find my spiritual self. And one of the first things that I learned from this church is the positive thinking, and that has been the most memorable and important part of my life now and forever. I remember a Wednesday night when we had classes, and there was a time when we went around and we shared things. And what I didn't know was that Shirley was listening for negative talk. And so what we did is she pointed out, hey, do you realize how many times you said can't? Do you realize how many times you said don't? And she had us write down our thoughts and rephrase them into a positive way. And then we went back and we shared them again using positive affirmations. And ever since that night, I have practiced reframing my thoughts into positive ways, and it has been a lasting effect. And not only is it lasting for me, but my son, who was 11 at the time, he came here with me. And he picked up on that same thing, and he does the exact same thing. So there was about 6 years where I was here and a big part of the church, and those are the most important aspects of how my spiritual journey has developed. And on top of that, Shirley, just kind of like Jane, she saw the struggles that I was going through at the time, and she took me and my son Alex under her wing, and she has been my second mama ever since. And there's just so much here for me that I've learned and gained. And now, as soon as I met my husband Donnie 3 years ago, Shirley was one of the first people I talked about when I met him and how important you were in my life.
Mm-hmm. And I married them. Tied that knot good and tight.
He was our minister, yes.
Anybody else have something?
Yeah, I remember the Odyssey of the Spaghetti Feast.
The Odyssey?
The first day, go shopping, 15 gallons of sauce, all of the onions and garlic you need, the 10, 15 pounds of meat.
Mm-hmm.
The second day to find the pot big enough, so I went to the Nick Center and bought one of that pot. And then to find the kitchen to cook. And we all start to cook and cook. And serve over there with all electricity, no gas, no nothing. Just, house on the wax.
And how many times the power went out while we were trying to cook in
Yeah.
inadequate kitchens?
Lordy,
I
yes.
know. Well, that was a good experience.
It was a good experience.
It was good spaghetti too.
Yes, good spaghetti. Very good. Sylvia.
Something that meant a lot to me, we used to do our New Year's Eve vigils, and would just come, the church would be open, and we would stay till midnight, and people would do some readings, and it just always helped me focus on being more positive for the next year. And people would drop in that didn't even go to church here, and we would just have some moments of sitting around and sharing our hopes for the future. It was always really special for me.
And we always did the Unity's World Day of Prayer. We would have a vigil here. Anything else anybody want to share?
I want to share.
Yes, Donna?
I want to share the day that the board made an impression on the bank.
Oh, yes.
I wasn't present till later. I had been in Unity in Gulfport and Unity in Metairie for years, so I came here, and after about 8 or 9 months, or not even a year, I was approached to join the board. Well, I joined the board and we were supposed to meet at the bank in Fairhope to sign the signature cards for the checking account. Well, I was working and working long hours, so I couldn't go when everybody else went. I was going to go later and just sign. Excuse me. So then apparently the board goes down and they're trying to give information to the bank so that all I have to do is run in and sign. Okay, she asked what my name was. They knew my first name, no one knew my last name. They asked my birth date, no one knew what month I was born in. They asked where I lived and no one knew. They even asked, what's her phone number? No one knew my phone number. They asked again, where did I work? No one knew where I worked. So it was just real interesting. So then when I go down later to sign, the girl, I give her my driver's license and all my information because she had nothing but my first name. And I signed. She said, I was beginning to think they made you up and they were trying to fill a slot and then find somebody to fill it. It was just hysterical. It's a very trusting board.
And she's turned out to be a wonderful board president for us.
And now they do know my last name.
Yes, and we know where she lives, and we know where she works. Anything else that you'd like to share? All right, well then let's go on. As we right now live in our focused, human, leading edge experiences, and as we choose this combination of joyful thoughts and feelings, we are offering unique signals that have never before been offered. This situation has never existed before. The world is being affected by our achieving a vibration that brings the universal substance to us. We create a nucleus around which universal substance has to respond. That is how we each are creators. The universe must yield to our vibrations of joy, which prompt us to offer more joyful vibrations that perhaps others elsewhere are also matching and offering. If they are, we all will have a profound effect of joy in the world. This is my last Sunday as your minister. I hope to fill my future hours with more sewing, writing stories and poems, and trying new recipes. But Andrea and I are not going anywhere, so we'll be around. Your trust and confidence in me has bolstered me so that I could grow into a true minister. I hope I have provided spiritual inspiration, messages of divine truth, counsel and guidance, and love for each of you. I certainly have received all that and more from all of you. As we celebrate 30 years of unity on the Eastern Shore and bringing new thought to the Eastern Shore, and as we close this chapter of UES's history, let's spend a few minutes in quiet contemplation and meditation. So let's do that now. This is the time when we settle into a quiet inner space and refresh our connection with Divine Mind. So close your eyes for a private encounter with your God, with your higher self, and relax. Let the chair hold you. Let your shoulders down. And focus on your breathing gently in and out. Quiet the chatter in your mind and rest in the silence. Feel the life force within you. Let your intention for the next few minutes be to learn more about the God space inside you, for that's where you are to place your faith. Breathe in the breath of God. Let go of all resistance. Just let go of all worldly cares. Let go and relax. Sit in the silence with yourself, your higher self, and just be in the stillness. Again, just quietly listen to the sound of your breathing. Feel the life force within you and relax. Be willing to step out in faith. Live in faith that you are a piece of the universe, a portion of the One Presence. You are liquid love in human form. Live in the faith that you are safe. You are loved. Live in the faith that you are consciousness and you are already perfect, whole, and complete. Just rest in your inner silence and listen. Listen for the still small voice giving you divine ideas to guide you on your path to self-discovery, to discovering your spiritual self. Give thanks for new insight, for the eternal and perfect love of the One Source. Gently bring your focus back to your body, to the chair, to the room, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Faith gives substance to our hopes and makes us certain of realities we cannot see. And so it is.